Lauded by horror enthusiasts, Eva Aulin emerged as a notable figure in cinema following her role in the 1968 film Candy. Her striking appearance and dreamlike presence resonated with fans, making her a symbol of the shifting cultural landscape of the late 60s. Yet her life reveals more than just her cinematic achievements. While capturing the essence of a generation on screen, she endured personal challenges that remained hidden from the public eye. During the making of Candy, she embarked on a clandestine marriage, a significant choice that few were aware of at the time. This decision, alongside other pivotal moments in her life, outlines her extraordinary journey in a complex industry. As her career flourished, questions arose about her withdrawal from the Hollywood scene at the peak of her recognition. Understanding her motivations and experiences provides a richer picture of this compelling personality and her unique contribution to horror and film history. Born on February 13, 1950, in Landskrona, Sweden, Eva Aulin seemed destined for stardom from an early age. With her striking blonde hair and natural elegance, she immediately stood out among her peers. At just 15 years old, she entered the world of beauty pageants, a decision that would change her life forever. Competing in Miss Teen Sweden, she emerged victorious, gaining widespread recognition in her home country. This initial success fueled her ambition, leading her to compete in Miss Teen International, where her beauty and charm won her the prestigious title. This accomplishment placed her on the global stage and solidified her status as a rising star. Her wins not only earned her accolades, but also opened doors in Sweden's entertainment industry. With international fame now within her grasp, she began to take her first steps toward a career in film, shaping her future and connecting with audiences around the world. Eva's journey into the world of acting began with her striking beauty and grace catching the attention of Swedish filmmaker Gunnar Fischer. Fischer, well known for his work as Ingmar Bergman's cinematographer, recognized her potential and cast her in his short film The Devil's Instrument. This role, though minor, was significant as it marked her debut as an actress and sparked a deep passion for performing. The experience allowed her to briefly step into the film industry, leaving her eager to explore more opportunities. At the same time, Eva was selected to represent Sweden in the inaugural Miss Teen International pageant. This experience opened doors beyond her home country, bringing her into the international spotlight. The attention from both the pageant and her film role began to reshape her image, transforming her from merely a beauty queen into a promising young actress with great potential in the entertainment world. Motivated by this newfound recognition, Eva aimed for Hollywood, aspiring to transition from the world of pageantry into a serious and fulfilling acting career. Eva Aulin's journey began with her crowning as Miss Teen International in 1966, a milestone that launched her into the limelight and made her one of Sweden's most notable young women. This recognition opened doors, but she soon discovered that entering Hollywood proved more challenging than anticipated. Although her beauty and exotic appeal caught attention, the American film industry struggled to view her as a serious actress. This disappointment did not deter her ambitions, and she made the decision to return to Sweden, where she focused on television appearances to further her career. One standout moment came when she was featured on Hyland's Hörna, a prominent Swedish talk show that expanded her audience significantly. As her popularity grew, her talents began to attract the gaze of filmmakers beyond Sweden's borders, particularly in Italy. It wasn't long before she landed a role that would alter her trajectory, playing the title character in Candy. This film not only highlighted her abilities, but also established her as a cult icon in cinema, solidifying her legacy. Eva Aulin's transition from beauty queen to actress was swift. In 1967, at just 16 years old, she made her feature film debut in the Italian comedy Don Giovanni in Sicilia, or Don Juan in Sicily. This film was based on Vitaliano Brancati's novel and presented a light-hearted satire about a man's romantic escapades. Although Eva's role was small, her delicate beauty and screen presence made a lasting impression. During this early phase, she found steady work in the Italian film industry, appearing in various productions that spanned from romantic comedies to thrillers. Despite her increasing reputation within European cinema, most of these early films did not leave a significant mark on the global stage, often being quickly forgotten outside of Italy, overshadowed by larger international releases. Nevertheless, these films provided Eva with valuable acting experience, allowing her to build connections in the industry. She was honing her craft, developing her skills, and gaining recognition as one of the most striking newcomers in European cinema. In 1968, Eva Aulin's career took a dramatic turn when she was cast in the title role of Candy, a psychedelic black comedy that epitomized the countercultural movement of the 1960s. Based on the controversial novel by Terry Southern and Mason Hoffenberg, Candy presented a surreal and often bewildering story about a naive, beautiful young woman named Candy Christian, who embarks on a series of bizarre encounters with eccentric men. The film featured an impressive cast, showcasing some of the biggest names in Hollywood and beyond, including Marlon Brando, Richard Burton, Walter Matthau, and even Ringo Starr of the Beatles. With its star-studded lineup and its themes of sexual liberation, absurdity, and anti-establishment satire, Candy was marketed as a bold and provocative film that captured the free-spirited, experimental energy of the late 1960s. For Eva, the role of Candy offered both an opportunity and a challenge. She found herself thrust into the spotlight, working alongside legendary actors in a highly publicized film. While she embraced the role, she later reflected that she didn't fully grasp the depth of the film's satire at the time. Upon the release of Candy, the film elicited a wide range of responses from critics. Many were left unimpressed, characterizing it as an incoherent mess that seemed unable to capture the satirical essence of the original novel. Some reviewers felt it leaned too heavily into surrealism, labeling it an overindulgent spectacle more concerned with shocking audiences than providing a coherent narrative. Yet, others appreciated its reflection of the chaotic and free-thinking spirit of the late 1960s, viewing it as a product of its time. Despite the initial negative feedback, Candy's striking visuals and unexpected cameos contributed to a dreamlike quality that lingered in the minds of viewers. Over the years, the film cultivated a devoted cult following, particularly among enthusiasts of experimental cinema from that period, who were fascinated by its blend of highbrow satire and lowbrow exploitation. Eva Aulin experienced a turning point. Candy brought her international recognition, but also confined her to certain types of roles, creating both opportunity and limitation in her career. Candy stands as a cultural artifact, encapsulating the era's wild spirit without achieving the status of a cinematic masterpiece. Despite the mixed critical reception, Eva Aulin had a unique perspective on her film Candy and its deeper meaning. In later interviews, she described the film as a modern fable, presenting a moral lesson wrapped in surrealist comedy. Aulin viewed her character, Candy Christian, not as a one-dimensional figure, but as an innocent soul surrounded by corrupt, selfish, and exploitative people. According to her, Candy represented purity and goodness, standing in stark contrast to the cynical world around her. Aulin once remarked that if more people were like Candy, the world would be a better place. Her performance in the film garnered significant attention, leading to a Golden Globe nomination for Most Promising Newcomer, an honor that could have catapulted her into Hollywood stardom. Despite this recognition, she ultimately lost the award to another actress. While being nominated at such a young age was a notable achievement, it did not translate into lasting success in the American film industry. Following Candy, Eva Aulin faced a difficult career dilemma. She had proven that she could lead a major international film, but Hollywood filmmakers saw her in a very narrow light. She was typecast as the quintessential blonde nymphette, a young, beautiful woman whose innocence was often contrasted with the chaotic, predatory world around her. Instead of receiving a variety of roles that could showcase her acting range, she was repeatedly offered parts that played up her looks rather than her talent. Eva appeared in only one other American film, Start the Revolution Without Me, a period comedy set during the French Revolution starring Gene Wilder and Donald Sutherland. Despite its comedic elements and a strong cast, the film failed to make a lasting impact and did little to advance Eva's Hollywood career. Frustrated by the lack of meaningful opportunities, she began shifting her focus back to European cinema, where she had greater control over the roles she accepted. While Candy had made her famous, it had also made it difficult for her to escape its shadow. She had been introduced to the world as an ethereal, wide-eyed beauty, but breaking away from that image proved to be a challenge that ultimately shaped the direction of her career. During the filming of Candy, Eva Aulin made a surprising personal decision. She secretly married musician and filmmaker John W. Shadow. Unlike many in Hollywood who embraced high-profile relationships, Eva made the choice to keep her marriage entirely out of the public eye. At that time, Hollywood tabloids thrived on celebrity romances and the latest gossip, but Eva and John opted for privacy over publicity. She later spoke fondly of John, highlighting his intelligence and creativity, describing him as an ambitious Englishman with dreams of becoming a novelist. Yua admired his artistic perspective and his deep love for storytelling, which matched her own evolving interest in more meaningful film projects. Many people assumed that Yue was consumed by her rising acting career, yet behind the scenes, she began contemplating a life beyond the Hollywood spotlight. Despite her affection for John, their marriage remained largely unknown, with few media details about their relationship. Some speculated that their secret was influenced by Hollywood's trend of marketing young actresses as single and available, while others saw it as a simple personal preference for maintaining normalcy amidst the whirlwind of fame. Regardless of the reason, their relationship quietly added to the intrigue surrounding Yue Aulin's private life. Eva's Hollywood career had been a double-edged sword. While it gave her international recognition, it also placed her in a restrictive box, one that left little room for artistic growth. Disillusioned by the way Hollywood treated her, she made the bold decision to leave. She felt that the industry was more interested in her looks than her acting abilities, and she was determined to find roles that offered more depth. After leaving Hollywood, Eva returned to Europe, where she sought out projects that aligned with her artistic sensibilities. One of her most intriguing ventures was an experimental film directed by her husband, John W. Shadow. It was meant to be a deeply personal and avant-garde project, unlike anything she had done before. However, the film was never released, and its fate remains unknown. Some believe it was abandoned due to financial difficulties, while others suggest that it was too unconventional to secure distribution. Despite this setback, Eva did not give up on acting. She turned to Italian cinema, where she had already established a name for herself, and began working in genres that offered her more creative freedom. As the 1970s progressed, Yue Aulin made a fascinating transition into the realm of giallo films, a unique subgenre of Italian cinema. Giallo films combined elements of psychological thrillers, mystery, and horror, often infused with stylized violence and surreal storytelling. This shift in her career introduced her to films that were rich in adult themes, gothic imagery, and unsettling soundtracks. Yua's ethereal and enigmatic presence on screen fit perfectly with the tone of these films, enhancing their immersive and suspenseful qualities. Her striking beauty allowed her to portray characters that conveyed both innocence and danger, which made her a sought-after lead in these atmospheric narratives. Initially known for her work in comedies and experimental cinema, she rapidly became a recognizable name in the Italian horror and thriller landscape. Audiences enjoyed witnessing her evolution from a Hollywood ingenue to an iconic figure in European horror films. Some of her later performances in historical dramas and period thrillers showcased her range, allowing her to break free from the limitations of standard roles she had faced in Hollywood. Even with her success in the giallo genre, Yue began experiencing the pressures and strains of the film industry. By the mid-1970s, Eva Aulin had grown increasingly frustrated with the harsh realities of the entertainment business. She had built a solid career, but with that success came a front-row seat to the darker side of the industry. The exploitation, broken promises, and ruthless nature of achieving success weighed heavily on her. She later described the film world as a hard, rude, and heartbreaking business that did not favor those with kind hearts or gentle dispositions. She observed that the industry seemed built on power and manipulation, where those who refused to play its games often found themselves pushed aside. This created an inner conflict for Eva, who had always been more introspective and reserved than her contemporaries. As time went on, she began to question whether she truly wanted to continue working in such an unforgiving environment. Having already made the difficult choice to leave Hollywood once, she pondered if it was time to step away from acting altogether. Despite this growing disillusionment, she remained committed to delivering strong performances in her films, and for horror fans, some of her most memorable roles were yet to come. As she moved away from the film industry, Yue Aulin still found ways to captivate audiences through memorable roles in horror cinema. One of her standout performances occurred in the 1973 gothic horror film Death Smiles at a Murderer. In this chilling supernatural tale, she portrayed an undead avenging angel, embodying a vengeful spirit seeking retribution against those who wronged her. The film drew inspiration from the works of Edgar Allan Poe, weaving a dark narrative filled with murder, mystery, and themes of resurrection, which solidified Aulin's legacy within horror history. Another significant role was in the 1968 giallo thriller Death Laid an Egg. This experimental film combined psychological horror with social critique, allowing Aulin's performance to elevate the storyline beyond typical murder mysteries, earning it a dedicated following among fans of unconventional Italian horror. Her role in the 1973 film The Legend of Blood Castle explored the infamous Countess Elizabeth Bathory, blending historical drama with horror elements, showcasing her versatility in European cinema. While she may not have reached the heights of fame enjoyed by her Hollywood peers, Aulin undeniably influenced the horror genre. She transitioned from a beauty queen to an actress known for her cult film presence. Yet, alongside her achievements, an exhaustion from the industry began to set in, prompting her to consider a life beyond the spotlight. This contemplation marked a significant change as she gazed toward a future that drifted away from the constant demands of the film world. By 1972, Eva Aulin's first marriage to John W. Shadow had quietly come to an end, shrouded in mystery as the details of their divorce remained largely undisclosed. Unlike many celebrity breakups, which often spark public interest, the reasons for their separation were never revealed by Eva, leaving the public to speculate on the underlying issues. This silence suggested a thoughtful reflection on their relationship, whether it stemmed from personal differences, the challenges of a creative partnership, or a natural drift that many couples experience over time. As she stepped away from this chapter of her life, Eva began distancing herself from the film industry, a decision driven by her growing disillusionment with how young actresses were treated in Hollywood and European cinema. Her ambitions shifted away from the Hollywood limelight. In 1974, 2 years after her divorce, she married again, this time to Cesare Palladino, an Italian builder. This new union represented a significant shift in Eva's lifestyle. Her choice to marry someone outside the entertainment world hinted at a desire for greater privacy and stability. This relationship contrasted sharply with her previous marriage, reflecting her wish to embrace a quieter, more traditional life, steering away from the chaotic atmosphere of show business. As Eva Aulin moved into her second marriage, her priorities began to shift away from her acting career. This change was not a quick decision, but rather a gradual awareness that her passion for performing had diminished over time. Embracing the opportunity to dedicate herself to her family became her new focus, allowing her to step away from the constant pressures and demands of being in the spotlight. Over the years, Eva and her husband welcomed 2 daughters, which further solidified her commitment to family life. This transition to motherhood brought her a sense of fulfillment that film roles could not provide. In a noteworthy twist, one of her daughters eventually became the partner to Italy's 58th Prime Minister, establishing a fascinating connection to influential figures. Unlike many actresses who experienced difficulty in leaving the industry behind, Eva approached her exit with a sense of peace and contentment. She found joy in a more traditional life, contrasting the earlier chaos of her film career, and embraced the normalcy that came with family and personal connections. As Eva Aulin reached the age of 24, she found herself at a crossroads in her career. While many actresses were just beginning to establish themselves in the industry, Eva felt a deep disinterest in continuing her acting journey. The roles that came her way lacked the excitement and creativity she once craved. More importantly, she was frustrated by the emphasis placed on her appearance rather than her skills and talent as an actress. One pivotal moment solidified her decision when she turned down the lead role in El Condor, a Western film featuring well-known actors Jim Brown and Lee Van Cleef. The film's focus on action and spectacle, rather than artistic integrity, did not resonate with her. She realized that she wanted a more meaningful career path. Instead of chasing after roles that no longer inspired her, Eva chose an unexpected route. She returned to her childhood dream of becoming a teacher and enrolled in a university. This decision surprised many fans, but for Eva, it represented a chance to pursue her true passion and embrace a fulfilling life outside of the spotlight. For more than 2 decades, Eva Aulin stayed away from the film industry. She focused on her family and her studies, carving out a life for herself far removed from the world of cameras and scripts. However, in 1996, she made a brief return to the screen in the Italian film Stella's Favor. Her role was minor, and it did not signal a comeback. Rather, it seemed to be a one-time return, possibly out of nostalgia or as a favor to a friend. The film was not widely seen, and Eva did not attempt to revive her acting career afterward. In an interview reflecting on her time in Hollywood and European cinema, she spoke candidly about the challenges she faced. She expressed frustration over how the industry had exploited her for her looks, often dismissing her actual acting potential. She had been cast primarily as the beautiful, innocent blonde rather than given complex, meaningful roles that could have showcased her depth as a performer. While she had no regrets about leaving acting behind, She acknowledged that she had never been given the chance to truly prove herself as an actress. As we delve into the story of Eva Aulin, it becomes clear that her impact on the horror genre and film culture runs deep. Not only did she captivate audiences with her roles, but her personal journey also reflects the struggles many face in the entertainment world. Those challenges, which she bravely navigated behind the scenes, illustrate the dichotomy between public perception and private realities. Her decision to step away from the limelight is a poignant reminder of the pressures of fame and the quest for personal authenticity. By examining both her cinematic achievements and her hidden struggles, we grasp a fuller understanding of Eva's legacy. Her story resonates with themes of resilience and self-discovery, inviting us to reflect on the transformative power of film and the stories of those who create it, ultimately enriching our nostalgia for a bygone era in horror.